R32 Skyline.
It's just tight.
All right, so
I've never duct taped someone's foot.
no, I mean, I think this is gonna work out. Do I even need brakes? No, I don't need brakes.
We just duct taped Rob's foot to the gas pedal.
Oh my God.
Hello YouTube, we are at Circuit of Americas today, and I am anonymous, like drifter no one knows about compared to this guy. This is Hoonigan legend, Rob Parsons, better known as Chairslayer. Alright, so what we're going to talk about today is what I think is unique about him, and then he's going to tell me about what I'm sitting on right now, because this thing is absolutely bonkers. We'll get into this in a minute. But first of all, everybody knows who you are, so we don't really need to introduce you.
Yeah.
So that's easy. Interview over.
Hopefully,
nothing to talk about.
But yeah, so Rob Parsons, Chairslayer, and I love drifting. But as more than I love drifting, I love fabricating, building things, and giving other guys the opportunity to experience motorsports. And that's what I do with my nonprofit organization. So that's a couple of key things that make me unique and how I like to help out the community.
So we'll just start right off the bat. I normally try and pick apart like what I think someone's really special about and stuff, and like what makes them special to the community. And for him, when I look at him drift, I know damn well, because like when I work on drift cars, I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is and how much effort it is to get a car out of a trailer. Ooh, that's loud. Take it places, run over your body kit, break a transmission. Today, he was riding with me and we broke a transmission in the Corvette. It was already broken and I knew it, but like we were driving on it, like we struggled. Struggled, but like we stayed on track, we kept doing it. And so what makes him special is like this guy, if he goes to a drift event, everything is 10 times more effort for him than anyone else. Which means he has to love it so much because it's so much effort. Like, he could sit at home and play Xbox. That would be a million times easier, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, so that's it. He's absolutely right. Like, the effort and the amount of passion and energy that is required to like be successful at this and like have fun at it is substantially higher than when I could walk. I used to be a one-man team when I could walk, and like, you know, building my car, taking to the events, loading it up, everything was all done by myself. And now there's certain things I need help with, obviously, but I still am very stubborn in the fact that I'm a one-man team, and I like to think that, so I'm always like trying to do everything that I can on my own. And that's why I said screw it. Instead of buying, you know, a hand control system that was already available, which there really wasn't, I said screw it, and I was going to make my own system. So I designed an electronic clutch and an electronic shifting system that allowed me to control all of those functions with my left hand. So upshift, downshift, clutch, gas, brake, and handbrake is all controlled with my left hand. And like, to come up with that, I had no idea. I knew what I wanted and I knew how to drive the car. I needed to put the ideas together to make it work, and like spent tons of time and tons of energy. Even in the hospital while I was recovering from my injuries, I was trying to figure out how I was going to drive a race car again. And good thing I stayed in the hospital for as long as I did, because that allowed a lot of time to think about how I was going to do it. And as soon as I got out, I just dove right into creating this unique car and this unique idea that a lot of people didn't think I'd be able to pull off, because, you know, people have ideas and it's like cool and all, but the execution is not there. And that's where it's like the passion comes in. You got to really believe that you can do this, and you got to really believe that you can make it happen, or else it's just going to fizzle out. So with it being 10 times harder, it's absolutely correct. You know, building a roll cage is not easy for me. Getting good at welding with my hands instead of using, you know, foot amp control. Obviously can't do that anymore, so like relearning how to do that. Lifting heavy objects, just a pain in the ass, but you know, you overcome those obstacles by problem solving and, you know, not getting down on yourself to, yeah, you just look at it as this is gonna be fun, and you laugh at yourself when you inevitably mess up, and you just keep going.
So this is gonna sound naive, but like, why don't you quit? Why do you do this? It is so much harder. Like, I know, like, the Corvette is going to be broken now for 6 months. Yeah. Like, I'm just gonna push it aside. I have another car to drive, whatever. But like, it's so much work sometimes. And like, I've been drifting for 15 years. Like, there was a couple times where I took like a 2-year break because I was like, this is just too much effort. Like, it's too much money, it's too much time, it's too much everything. And with so much more time and effort, does it keep you in it because you have so much invested that it's like the sunken cost fallacy? Like, you just don't quit because it's so hard.
Yeah.
You keep going. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So yeah, I could not see my life without motorsports. There's absolutely no way I could live my life without my cars. If someone took my cars away, I'll be more devastated if that happened than I was when I broke my back.
Wow.
I shit you not. When I broke my back, I was like, I can figure this out. I'm okay. But if if someone said you can't do this anymore, I would go into a deep depression, 100%. And it's just it encompasses so much of who I am and so much of what my life is. You know, like from electrical designing electrical components, fabrication, coming up with new technologies to do hand control stuff with, to designing full race cars that I never thought I would do. You know, like I'm not a professional engineer. I just learned all this stuff because I couldn't pay someone else to do it, and like I wanted to learn it. So for me to quit would be me quitting on myself.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't allow that to happen. So I'll be into motorsports until the day I die.
Do you get into like a really good positive feedback loop where like you can design stuff and you engineer it and then you fabricate it and like you have so much time in something like this, and that not being able to run around and do all the other things, like you spend more time focusing on being super productive on something like this, it almost makes you better at fabricating and like it almost makes you better at thinking through things. I mean, that sounds kind of crazy, but it gives you a different type of focus.
Yeah.
And it creates a positive feedback where like building something like this is mental.
Yeah.
Like this is amazing. This thing is like life-changingly cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, like anyone that sees this reacts to it in such a positive way that like you get a great amount of positive feedback through it, and you just want to keep doing it. Is that a good way to say it or no?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like seeing people's reactions to these vehicles, and like to me driving, and to, you know, seeing more so not even me driving, but like seeing the guys that I help, other guys in wheelchairs that never thought that they'd be able to drive a race car again, or, you know, giving them that opportunity, which is actually life-changing. That is so much positivity for me. That motivates me more to like dive into this stuff and get better at it, learn more things, and create more things, you know. And I don't like to. I'm not an idle mind, so I can't sit there and just not be doing something. So, you know, I'm always looking for that next project, that next technology, or the next thing to you know, stimulate my mind.
Something to chat about these now, like changing the subject slightly, but kind of still on the same topic. I find these carts really interesting. I don't know much about them yet, and I haven't been around them much, although I did get to drive one earlier today. Drifting lacks something like this, which is a turnkey object that you can buy, have tons of fun in, hopefully won't break, has really low consumables. Like these things would completely change global rallycross. Like you can do everything a global rallycross car would do
for a fraction of the cost.
1/10 the price, or 1/20th the price. Is that accurate?
So yeah, so our cars, these Sierra cars, they are faster than the RX2 cars.
Yeah.
And they are a quarter of the price. So, and less consumables. You can have a two-person team, the driver and the mechanic. You're good to go, super easy. And even the driver can be the mechanic. It's, if you want to go to that extent, it's not that difficult to maintain these and service bolts and like go through the car. So the RX3 chassis, which is our like main chassis, is 185 horsepower Hayabusa powered kind of rallycross spec car, and it is the funnest thing you will ever drive. It's so fun because it's loud, it revs high, it goes fast. You go 140 miles an hour in this thing.
And this thing?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
It is. It's terrifying at the same time.
That'd be so like, raw.
Yeah. So we had on the dirt, we were going, OP had it up to 125 miles an hour on the dirt, and it was insane to see it go that fast. But like this one, our Alpha is our Pikes Peak edition, and that is a turbocharged 310 horsepower full aero car that is incredibly quick. It's very nimble, drives like it's stuck to the pavement. It's so cool to see that thing shred up Pikes Peak. We're gonna have 3 of these Pikes Peak ones, the turbocharged ones at Pikes Peak this year, plus a couple of the RX3 ones. So we're gonna have a good showing of cars out there, and hopefully be able to get a podium.
To explain how mental and raw like this car is, just like how much does it weigh and how much horsepower does it have?
This one is 1100 horsepower.
This is 1100. Oh, I was like, oh my god.
I wish it. Could you imagine? It'd be just wheeling over. 1100 pounds, 310 horsepower.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's mental.
Yeah, absolutely. So the power to weight ratio is insane. Like we can bring those Hayabusa motors up to 600 horsepower if they need to, which is incredible.
Reliably?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's tons of options for those. They've been so developed over the years. It's just such a great platform.
So something I thought was really interesting is like the UTV market is starting to build more and more dedicated types of UTVs, like the RZR type stuff and the X3 and all of these things. They almost have like street tire ones now that you could almost do some type of drifting in, except all of them roll over really easily.
Yeah. No.
But I was gonna say they could get into some type of spec racing which they are doing that, but I mean like on asphalt and stuff.
Yeah.
Like these are more getting to that range.
Yeah. So that's the whole idea behind the Sierra cars is spec racing, arrive and drive, low maintenance, and a very attainable racing program for the average person. You know, an average person has got a good job, good life, to be able to like dive into something that they want to have fun with on the weekends. This is it.
Mm-hmm.
Full on spec racing that you don't need to worry about. And you can own the car or you can lease it too.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you want to do.
Have you all thought about like how many different types of racing series were trying to be built off of a like custom spec type car like this? Is it common to do that? Is it successful to typically do it? Are you like going an uphill battle because you know the model doesn't normally work, or does the model work really well? I don't know, because I have seen like a lot of spec V, like all those type of weird race cars out there.
Yeah.
And you know they built a lot of them, and I don't think they really built them anymore. But like someone was making those things and cranking them out.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's, I mean, it is an uphill battle, you know, starting the series, getting people on board to be open to driving these cars. You know, we just got to get them excited, and then we got to get venues that want to have us there. And it is an uphill battle for sure. But I think we can do it because we got a very unique car, and it's very fun to drive like a lot of the other ones. This one is very adaptable though. You can use it asphalt, dirt, all surfaces, and you can set it up for whatever one you want, and it will do them all well. So that's what I'm excited about, is a very versatile vehicle.
Why did the one I drive not have a hydraulic handbrake in it? Or a cable one or anything?
I've been telling them to add it forever. It hasn't been on our priority list for some odd reason. It's been on my priority list, but I've just never got in there to add it in there.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you why. That's pretty much the reason. It sucks because driving the car with the handbrake changes it quite a bit. It really makes just setting up the initial turn into the corner far easier.
Yeah.
Because the car is you got to drive it aggressively for it to work properly. So it's on throttle all the time, throwing that car around.
Yeah.
And then like heavy on the brakes, and then back on throttle again.
When I would be on throttle and I could drift it through the big sweeper.
Yeah.
And then when it was decreasing radius at the very end and tightened up, I would clutch in and I would foot brake, and then I guess the tires recorded and stuff, and the thing would over rotate on me, and I did it like 3 or 4 times in a row, and you're like, oh, and then I had to come off track. Are you really good at that? Like you can control the thing like that really well in different scenarios and it drifts excellently? Or do you, really well?
Yeah.
And then, or do you fight with it kind of thing?
It just depends on your driving style. With these tires and stuff like that, I haven't driven it enough to get that familiar with it. We haven't had hand controls in it, so.
Because you know what I mean, like you jump into 240 SX and you're like, oh, this is easy to drift.
Yeah.
Like, is it like that to you for these or no?
I mean, I think so, kinda. Yeah. I don't have a problem with when it's drifting. I can maintain it and it feels comfortable. And that's just with me like having my foot taped to the gas pedal. So like one arm here, foot taped to gas pedal, no brakes.
How do you operate the gas pedal? Just push your leg
Push
down?
my leg down.
Oh my God. Sanctioning bodies are just like clawing their eyes out.
Yeah. Did you watch me drive the Injuku R32?
No.
I taped my feet to the gas pedal only and went and did OSW bank.
What do you do about the brake and the clutch?
I pushed it into first gear, got it going. So like it's got synchro, so you can slowly get it to move, and then pop it into gear, and then pull it in a second.
This is a video I can go watch online?
Yeah, it's one of our unpros.
Oh my God, that's
seasoned
insane.
edits. Yeah, just watch. I think it's the R32 one. It's insane. It's
Were you
really
terrified doing it, or you were confident?
No, I was super comfortable. I was like, I got no brakes, so I mean, something's gonna stop.
So wait, 0 brakes?
0 brakes. Had nothing hooked up to
Oh
the
my
brakes.
God.
I had a
I'm gonna
handbrake.
cut this in, and then you're gonna watch like 20 seconds of this in my video.
Yes, and he only has 1 foot tape.
I gotta just do some donuts first.
Are you fucking serious? Yes! 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 That's so good! Rob is fucking drifting with his foot taped to the gas pedal. Nothing else.
Yeah, I had
I'm gonna
to
steal your video, by the way.
do it. I had to pull up a handbrake. Which
Oh my
was-
God.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That is insane.
Yeah,
The sketchy crap you do.
it works. I
Yeah.
don't know how.
All right, I'm gonna give you a choose your own adventure. Do you want to talk about like Hoonigan and how it's affected you and things like that, and like a lot of media and everything, or do you want to talk about the car we're sitting on? Which entertains you more to talk about?
I don't know, man. They're both affecting my life perfectly, like in great ways. But like,
Yeah.
I owe everything to Hoonigan. That the company has helped me just grow in the way that I wanted to in motorsports, and I really see them as such a tight family to me. They've helped me in so many ways, and I couldn't thank them anymore. It's like I can't.
So I was gonna say, is that like a good positive feedback thing that you really like want to continue with?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super stoked all the time. I'm never not happy. So it's like I want to always feel like that, and like Hoonigan definitely helps with that. The projects that they bring me on, and like it's just a great atmosphere to be around, and I want to continue that for as long as I can.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I have a much smaller YouTube like life, but I get to do amazing things like go to the Middle East and meet crazy people.
Yeah.
Not crazy bad, but you know, like crazy experiences, and
Yeah.
go to Japan and Poland and all over the world. And I wouldn't be able to do it without YouTube and stuff. And I get a huge positive feedback loop because people want you there. I'll arrive somewhere and like at a drift event in Poland or somewhere, and everybody knows who I am.
Right.
They're like, hi, Aaron, and you're suddenly like not a celebrity type thing, but like you're everyone's friend immediately, and it breaks the ice.
Right.
So like you can just go talk to anyone. You're not like, you know, the wallflower that no one talks to, or you're invisible. Like, it's a lot of fun. I was gonna say, you must get that at a much larger scale being a part of Hoonigan.
Yeah, it's wild. I can go anywhere in the world, and it seems like someone will pick myself or Hert out of the crowd. And like when him and I are together, it's just unstoppable. It's
Yeah.
like,
y'all feed off each other's energy really
Yeah,
well,
very
and
much
like
so.
also the audience feeds off that energy really well. They really like you guys together.
Yeah, no, I love that. Like, and now that we have John on there too, like the three of us together is just a shit show of like great stuff that comes together. I don't know how we do it. It's like we're just creating things. We're amateurs at the best of times, and like good thing we have some skills to put this stuff together. Like John's really good at building rotaries. I'm good at fabricating. Hert's good at Hert's a machine at driving, and like he's also good at putting content together, and he's a very creative personality as well. Like just super rad dude to be around.
Yeah. Did you ever think that you'd be like sitting here on something you built and designed at an F1 track, and like it's accepted and you're more recognized than like a lot of the drivers here, they're like professional drivers and stuff? Don't we live in some weird like alternate reality world?
Yo, B, the internet is weird, man. The internet is crazy. Like, B, you can be recognized more than like a real celebrity sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you're approachable too, which is completely different. They're afraid to go talk to some famous person.
That's what makes it crazy. It's like, you know, there's some weird times where you'll get approached in like just crappy places. You're like, this is why I'm trying to eat right now.
Yeah.
Like I've been sniped in a bathroom stall where like homie full on waited for me to get out of the bathroom.
Wow.
And was like, what's up, Chairslayer? I'm like, just trying to wash my hands, man. This is weird. It was so weird. But like the internet has made that crazy stuff happen, and like,
I was gonna say it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
and you got to put up
and
with
like
it.
appreciate it. Absolutely, it's really cool. But it's crazy to think how the internet built all that. You know?
I was gonna say the hardest thing sometimes is giving those people that want your attention enough attention where they feel appreciated and don't have a bad experience like meeting you. I'm always worried about that. Like especially at drift events, everybody wants to say hi, do things. I'm like, I'm putting out a fire, everyone's dying, or like something bad's going on, like the track's mad at me. And then they're like, oh, Aaron's a dick, he didn't talk to me. And I'm like, oh. Especially when you're
like
doing important stuff.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, you know. It's like you want to give everyone the time, but you want to also, you still need to handle your shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always try and be like, just do the best I can to talk to people as long as I can, you know. Because I mean, they see that, most of them see that you're working on your car, doing something, so they understand. You're good to go.
Would you agree that you are one of the people that YouTube has like opened huge doors for, and that it was a huge like life-changing experience and everything, and that it was a positive thing?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, Hoonigan was the reason all that YouTube stuff happened. Like, it's opened up so many doors for me creatively in with just designing stuff and like working with companies in that field too. So like I work with SolidWorks, I work with NVIDIA and HP and big companies like that now, you know, that you never thought you'd work with. Like it's hard to work with them in like a big capacity.
That is insane. Like you notice these cars are like sponsored by real companies and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm still like working on like some little tiny drift sponsor that we're doing something with, and you're working with like billion-dollar companies. That's insane.
Yeah.
With real marketing people.
Yeah.
Departments.
Exactly. And you know, it all boils down to them just being, most of them just want to be seen and like be relevant in different industries, and they're always looking for unique ways to branch out instead of their like core marketing efforts.
Next question. What's your most crazy experience you've had in the last like 3 or 4 years? Or do you want to talk about this car?
Most craziest experience.
He goes straight for that. He doesn't want to talk about the car. I keep moving towards it.
Damn. Yeah, I got crazy experiences. There's a ton of them. They're definitely not PG-13 though.
I don't think we're a PG-13 channel.
No.
Yeah, we're not.
That's funny. Let's see here.
I have some age-restricted content on our channel.
Yeah. Dude, the craziest experience though was having the ability to travel across country the whole time and just film and race and meet so many different people. That stuff is just, it's super unique, and to be able to do that, it's super humbling.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is I worked so hard that I low-key burnt myself out, and I had to take a break from it because I had some health problems. And that right there, that that whole experience after the fact of realizing that I'm only human, that was a gnarly experience because I mean, the injury was one thing, but like having to take care of yourself after it is even more. It's more difficult. Yeah, and I never thought it would be like that. You know, I thought you would heal, and you're good. You can go on living, but it's not that way. I have to constantly be like on point and making sure that my body, you know, read my body.
That's difficult because it's harder to take care of yourself and everything's harder, so you gotta like take time to recuperate after a drift event. I'm almost 40 now, and like hosting drift events is back-breaking labor. Cy sees that all the time. Sometimes I'm just like, well, I can't do anything for 2 days.
Right.
Like I literally am just like done. Like I go eat and do like just relaxing, or I'll go do yoga, but like I literally couldn't work if like my life required it.
Yeah.
When I was 20, I absolutely could.
Yeah.
No, like everything is harder.
I've full on noticed that. You know, I've cut back with how crazy I'll go with exerting myself. You know, 20 hours a day kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to do that anymore. It put me in a bad spot. So now I'm just like super chill and just do what I need to do, and I'm more focused.
I thought you were gonna give us like crazy stories. Like a couple years ago, we snuck into a nuclear missile silo and like all kinds of weird stuff. I figured you'd have like some nutso story. We snuck into Yas Marina, like through the security and everything. I guess you could guess who it was, and like went into the F1 pits and like into the GT Lamborghini things, and, like walking through their pits and stuff. It was wild. It was crazy. And, like in the media center and the control booth, like just went everywhere. Like everything was open once you get past the security guards. Like they don't lock doors, I guess, because all the employees have to be back there.
That's
it was
really
weird.
cool.
Or you know, just all the crazy stuff we did.
Yeah.
Wait, I probably need to cut that. We probably shouldn't say that. Cut that.
Yeah, I mean, I was driving down the freeway and my whole trailer lit on fire. That was pretty gnarly. That would suck.
That
was a crazy ass experience.
That would put you in a tough spot.
Yeah, no, I'm like, brakes are on fire. This is not a good situation. Like, and it ruined everything.
Oh, that really sucks.
Yeah, that was one. I mean, I got to sit down and recall them. They don't pop off the top of my head.
Okay, tell me about this car.
Okay.
This car is crazy.
So the Sierra Alpha is.
Let me get off of it.
Is a full Pikes Peak car. This I helped design a ton of this car, all in CAD, all in SolidWorks, all from the ground up. And then the guys at Life Motorsports put it all together. I was designing this while I was actually taking a break from my health problems. So I was doing all the design on the computer, and they were putting it together as we go. So we would communicate all mobily to make this thing happen. So it was really cool. I wasn't in the shop all the time, or at all for the first bit of it, and like it was amazing to see them take my ideas and make them work, and then you know, build a full car from it. And then now that I'm back, it's like we almost have 15 of them finished up, so we're gonna have a ton of them ready to go. And this one's turbocharged. This one's super fast. When we did Pikes Peak, we qualified 4th in open wheel. Unfortunately, on our actual run, we got a flat tire right off the start line. So we only had one car, so we didn't have another chance to make another run.
Have you driven this car in like a sketchy situation, like a Pikes Peak environment or something, where it's just terrifying, and like felt the full brunt of like something you've designed that's so scary, aggressive? You're like, whew. You're like, this might have been a mistake.
When I was out on the desert with my feet taped to the pedals, I was like, this thing is extremely freaking fast. And like, I'm shifting, so I'm like, hand on my leg, driving. The shifter's over here, so I'm like, gas, then let off, grab gear, gas, let off, grab gear.
Yeah.
All the way through 6.
With no brakes.
No brakes.
You don't at least have like a stick taped to it that you can just press down?
I had,
Like
I had something that I could reach to if I needed to. Like, I could put my foot on it.
Yeah.
But, I mean.
Oh, man, you are crazy.
I just wanted to go
Especially
fast.
like how fast that thing is.
Yeah.
So do you have one of these that's all set up for you?
Not right now.
Do you have a setup, like a bolt-in setup in mind that you can make it work really fast so you can at least drive your own car?
Especially with this one. This one's easy. It's already paddle shift, but so putting hand controls on this just requires a mechanical clutch, because it's a street bike engine, so a mechanical clutch, and then upshift and downshift on the thumbs, and then brake, and accelerator will be around the steering wheel. So a ring around the steering wheel.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I've driven the ring around the steering wheel, and I've driven the clutch pedal on the hand or on the shifter and the handbrake.
Yeah.
And it's almost easier than driving with a foot clutch, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because every time you go to shift or handbrake,
yeah,
you're just automatically pulling the clutch with your hand,
yeah,
and it's in a backward motion, and it's almost easier. The only thing that's weird is whenever I'd clutch kick, you would just go, boop.
Exactly.
And you know, people are like mind blown. They're like, "Oh, that'd be so hard," and you're like, "Ooh, it was literally easier."
Yeah.
I just put one foot on the brake and one foot on the gas, and just like drive around the track. And whenever it bogged the engine, I'm just like, boop.
Yeah. So it was crazy. Like I can drive better now than I used to when I could walk. Yeah, which is saying a lot for just the confidence I have in myself and the car and the abilities of it.
Are you spending a lot of time on simulators and stuff too to get that, or you're just doing it all in the car?
All in the car.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got a shit ton of seat time, and like I want more and more. So it's just the Sierra cars have taken away a little bit of seat time from that, but that's fine because this is a super sick project.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine like this would be so insane to drift something that's this fast on like these kind of tires, you know, like just the power to weight ratio and everything else, like with aero, it would be crazy to drift something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like we have a track that we always talk about, like this Harris Hill place we go to, where I think Michael's car, it's like 650 wheel and like, it's probably like 2,700 pounds, I think we weighted in that with him in it. Something like that. But you know, like he's entering at like 140, something like this, because you'd be coming out of the corner before it 20 miles an hour faster, you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
And then it'd be faster down the straight. You could literally be entering at like 150, 160, 170. Like this thing would be mental.
Yeah, and it would like it's so planted too. It's like the center of gravity is so low. It just doesn't wanna topple over at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you want to talk about before we exit?
Dude, I think that's great, man. This is super stoked to come out here and take part of the Lone Star Drift stuff and see what you guys got going on, especially at Coda. It's such a beautiful track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're in the Coda Annex.
Yeah.
The Annex. Although we did get to go around the full circuit. Are you ever going to bring your car down and come drift with us?
I wish it was here. I really do. Yes, that's the short answer. I just got to get it back together.
If you come down and drift with us, we'll set it up where we bring a bunch of like YouTube guys out or whatever, and we'll go. If you come out, we'll do like one of our normal 2-day events, and then I'll book like a kart track, and then we'll book a big road course for you, like on the side, if you know what I mean. And just like we trade media to go there and stuff and go have fun. You might enjoy that, because then we get like 4 days of driving in like 5 days or something.
Yeah.
And it's mental. Like every car's broken, nothing lasts.
Yeah.
The V8 S14s, like that stuff will last.
Yeah.
The 350Zs, but they don't get invited.
No, I'm down for that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Okay.
So let's make that happen,
Okay, I'm down.
dude.
We do that stuff all the
Super
time.
sick.
Thank you very much. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I love what you do. I think there's very few people within the drift community, like the grassroots side,
Yeah.
that take it to the next level where they're not thinking about themselves.
Yeah.
This isn't to badmouth anybody, but like I would say the average drifter is incredibly how do you say? Like they're only worried about themselves. They're
Self-centered?
self-centered. Not in a bad way though, because if you want to be successful, you need to be
you gotta-
self-centered.
yeah.
But I think that most drivers only think about what drifting can do for them,
Yeah.
and that they don't like give back to the community. They don't think about it that way. They don't think about, and obviously you got a lot from the drift community. So like maybe you want to give back in a different way.
Exactly.
But I was gonna say like
That's exactly it. Just
you didn't want to be a pro drifter.
Yeah.
You wanted to build neat stuff and like influence and like change the game. Like
Yeah.
these things are gonna make, just like all the UTVs and Vs and like all the different types of vehicles will make a lot of forms of racing so much less expensive
Yeah.
and so much more accessible to the masses and stuff. And that's really cool because not drifting, but like racing in general gets so expensive. And I know that racing is like companies battling it out and stuff, and it will be expensive because they can. But I mean, racing becomes inaccessible for a lot of people due to the cost. And when you lower the cost enough to go racing, you can have a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And like, there's not much out there like this. This thing is like a little tiny rocket ship.
yeah,
It's crazy.
that's the whole goal of this. You know, very attainable racing. You know, easy to get into.
Yeah. No, I think that's really cool. Now, and I'm not joking, you guys should build drift ones.
Yeah, all it takes is the handbrake. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
And the other thing though is, this is something that's very odd, and I think about it a lot. Like I was walking through the time attack pits. Drift cars need 2 seats
Yeah.
because drifting is so much more fun when you experience it with a friend.
Yeah.
And you can share the stories. And you're like, oh, I was on that guy. He's like, oh, that was crazy, and everything else. Like, it's different when there's 2 different cars and 1 person in each car and stuff. Like, you need 2 people in a car so that you can share the experience with someone else. That would be like these in full race cars. You don't need an extra person. No. But I do think in a drift car, if you make a 1-seater drift car, it becomes a purpose-built race car with no other function than to win something.
Yeah.
And if you have a 2-seater race like drift car, it suddenly becomes a fun car where its only point is for you to go out and have fun, not to win. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's not a competition car if you have 2 seats, and it's only a competition car if you have 1 seat. Yeah. How many laps do you get out of a set of tires? And do you get crazy amounts of laps because it doesn't have a lot of torque in the motor and it's mostly horsepower and also it's really light? Or is it just going to burn off a tire like anything else? You know what I mean?
You get a shit ton of laps. You can go all day with a fresh set of tires.
See, that's something that would change drifting.
Yeah, you can use trailer tires. You just grab small trailer tires and use them. They work amazing.
Because I was gonna say, you have a supercharged V8 car. You know the pain of drifting.
Oh,
it just gets
tires.
crazy.
Yeah.
So you could, after a season or 2, literally buy a freaking dedicated cart to go drifting.
Yeah.
It just needs to be excited enough you want to do it. Like, it can't be like those little seats you sit on and they go 4 miles an hour. Like, thing needs to boogie and go fast.
Exactly. And this thing gets up, it freaking hauls ass, but it doesn't burn the tires off that quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it'll make a little bit of smoke, but you use the trailer tires, you're good to go. You're not trying to get crazy grip out of them.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they're naturally fast already.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was gonna say, drifting, I think it's like some human thing to take yourself to the next level constantly with drifting, where you're running yourself out of the game. Like, take your V8 car, for instance. It gets to be so abusive on drivetrain and tires and fuel, and you just keep taking it to the next level because you want to, because it's exciting and everything.
Yeah.
But you're actively pricing yourself, or
you're
not just pricing yourself out, but if you build that car, how many laps does your car get on a set of tires?
Yeah, exactly.
2, 4?
Yeah, exactly. Road Atlanta is 2.
Right, so you get 2 laps at Road Atlanta, and it's extra hard for you to change tires, so you're going to have to rely on somebody to do it for you, which is actually probably better. Then you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, you would be better served probably by something that could do 100 laps or 200.
Oh, 100%. It's just more seat time for you.
Right.
Know?
So I was just saying, you actively built your car to drive less.
Yeah.
And you're just oh, what have I done?
Yeah, it's insane, I toned down the horsepower, I didn't need as much as I had.
Yeah.
And that made it better.
Do you ever think about that? How am I going to get way more laps out of that 240?
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
I don't try and go full throttle all the time. I push myself on where I need to, and then, I just have fun with it.
Yeah. But I mean, you don't ever think about building it differently to try and get tire wear? There's not really much we can do sometimes.
No, yeah, exactly.
We build ourselves into a corner.
I enjoy making a ton of smoke. That's great. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
What transmission do you have in your car?
T56 Magnum.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you shift it pretty well? Have you ever thought about doing a power glide or anything?
No, I don't think I'd want that. The H pattern is great, and having a full clutch is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you could get so good at keeping your hands on the wheel all the time and just using tons of torque to do everything.
Yeah.
Oh, electric drift cars.
Oh, that'd be
Electric
wild.
drift car would murder for you.
Yeah.
That would be so
1,000
good.
horsepower of craziness.
Yeah.
I would be down to do that.
And the power band wouldn't be wacky, you wouldn't have to shift it.
It's instant torque, and you can, if you use the Tesla drivetrains, you can, the handbrake essentially is the electric motor, so you can make that motor instantly stop.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So I just made a video on electric cars and why I think there's going to be a couple Formula D ones or pro level ones really soon, and they're going to annihilate everyone. There's going to be no way to compete against the damn things. They're going to be so good for various reasons.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a little while for them to get sorted out and stuff, but I was going to say I got distracted. Anyways, I didn't think about the handbrake being just the electric motor.
Yeah.
So it's just software. You can adjust it. You can do all kinds of stuff.
Exactly.
That's crazy. So it'll just be a button.
Yeah.
I love it. Cool.
I'm stoked for that, man. I really am. It's going to be a cool time to see that come alive, the electric stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say things like this. My interviews go forever. I'm sorry, but I was gonna say like things like this, things like the electric drift cars, the drivetrains, all that stuff. It's gonna push us into the future kind of thing because there's not gonna be a lot of chassis that are manual transmission and everything else that are gonna work soon for drifting, which isn't too big of a problem for us. We have drift cars. We'll be fine. Yeah. But for it to be like drifting in 20 years, like what are people gonna be driving?
It's gonna be
newer BMWs will be a disaster.
Exactly. All that stuff. There is no new cars that are like really slick.
Oh my God! What if these were electric?
No, we've thought about that for sure.
How hard would it be to make these electric?
Not too hard. You can buy 100 horsepower motors, so you would individually drive each side and then put batteries in the floor.
You should do that.
Yeah, I would like to.
That would be really cool because these things are really loud. I mean, that sounds old man Aaron, but like I was hearing it resonate in my ears at certain RPM, and you're like,
Yeah,
and you're like,
everything's like, they do
electric
get loud.
would be pretty sweet.
Absolutely. No, we have definitely talked about that.
Huh. Is there anything else before we end to talk about these things real quick? Any detail that you love to death? Anything that was incredibly difficult? Unique?
I love the fabrication on it. Everything's so beautifully fabricated with skilled welders, skilled fabricators, and like a good design, and they look really good.
They do look cool.
Yeah.
They look like little teeny tiny sprint cars on crack.
Yeah, exactly.
They look awesome.
Yeah, they get after it for sure.
Okay, Sai, let's let this man have his life back. Let's go do something else. Thanks.
I love it.
5 again.
Thank you, dude.
All right, bye.
Love you guys.
Whoop, whoop.